Hail, flaming ones! Greetings in the light of purity. Greetings in the light of your own ascension. I have come forth from Luxor this day, and I have come in the light of victory. I have come in the action of the diamond shining mind of God, to consecrate your souls, your consciousness, to the immortal victory of the flame. Now and then you feel the pulsations of the white light, and you feel the presence of Serapis as discipline and as sternness, and as the law of being, returning to the white fire core all of the energies of consciousness that have strayed beyond the periphery set by God as the circumference of your awareness. It is true that I am the disciplinarian, and it is true that out of ascension's fires have come forth the disciplines which I embody. For I am in reality the humble servant of the ascension flame. The flame has chosen me, and I have chosen the flame. And as it has happened in so many instances, the masters who serve in the rays of God have chosen those rays for no other reason than there was no one else to do the job. You may very well find as you go forth to excel in consciousness for the will of God on terra, that you are in a position where you least expected to be, serving there in the fires of discipline. And you may find that by the exigencies of the hour, you attain mastery in areas of consciousness where you least expected to attain that mastery. And you find as life is a cycle after a cycle, and as you are able to examine the flow of consciousness, that you have been placed in situations and among people, perhaps where you least likely expected to be placed, for the purpose of an attainment that comes full circle in the hour when the masters of the Ascension Temple determine to thrust your identity and your flame and your awareness of God to the fore on the stage of life. And then you find yourself the instrument of a higher way, the instrument of a discipline, and the means whereby many are able to understand the nature of their own fiery destiny. Therefore, let the Holy Spirit, as the wind of the sacred fire, carry you wherever it is God's intent that you should be, and let the Holy Spirit mold you and refine your consciousness. And then call to Serapis Bey and call for the sword of the Ascension Temple. Call for the discipline of the light. You will find that the nature of purity is a cleansing and a very precision manifestation. By the action of purity, you gain precision in your vision of the divine plan, precision in the colorations of the chakras and the aura, precision in timing, and in anchoring your consciousness anywhere in time and space where God desires you to be the flame of life. A number of years ago, I dictated to the messenger Mark Prophet a dossier on the Ascension. And this dossier on the step-by-step way of victory was released at great cost to the planetary body. For the release of that light of ascension's flame into the planes of matter produced a reaction of discord and even war in the Middle East, and an intensification of that war by the reaction of mankind's consciousness to the flame of purity. And when I released this information, I said that I would return to give advanced teachings on the ascension to the disciples of the masters, if they would apply the original release and carry the flame of the ascension on behalf of mankind. Since that release, several among you have made the ascension, including the messenger who was the instrument for that release. Since that time, greater numbers of devotees have come into the awareness of the meaning of the ascension for all life, for elemental life, for Earth's evolutions, and for the planetary body. And many have come into the understanding of the science of the spoken word. They have surrendered their pride, and they have begun to decree. They have surrendered their discarnates, and they have begun to decree. And in their invocations to the violet flame, they have found themselves, as it were, sitting on a fountain of light, and that fountain propelling them like a shaft, an elevator shaft, into higher and higher planes of consciousness. There have been others who would not release their psychic substance, and they have turned their backs on the science of the spoken word, and they have sat in the silence of that meditation which they preferred. We champion the free will of each one to pursue God as he will. We champion the right for each man and woman to perceive the light as he will, and to pursue the light as he will. Nevertheless, we come with ascension's flame. We come with that fire, which is the reward of those who have intensified the action of freedom in their four lower bodies, who have been willing to return to the I am presence, those misqualified energies. And in returning those energies through invocation of the violet flame, they have become receptacles of ascension's fires, holding the balance of initiation for mankind. During this period, greater numbers from among you have begun frequenting the retreat of the Ascension Temple on a regular basis, attending classes, preparing you for those initiations of the sacred fire which you must pass while you are yet in incarnation on Terra, while you yet wear these four lower bodies. Now then, considering the great discipline of the ascension and the path leading thereto, I must say that I am pleased with the progress of the student body, with the progress of the chelas of the ascended masters, and I say there is a greater concentration of ascension's flame anchored on Terra because you have enshrined it in your hearts than ever before in modern history. And there is greater opportunity in this moment for souls to return to the I am presence through this flame than ever before, because you have set your mark on that goal, because you will not allow that goal to be taken from you, because you see before you the open door of the ascension and the mighty seraphim who line the path who carry those golden trumpets to play for you the march of your triumphant entry into the flame. I come then with this announcement, that if some among you, or all among you, will intensify your calls to purity, will intensify your surrender in the name of Mother Mary, that I will by and by release the sequel to the Dossier on the Ascension, for it is time for it to be released. And while we have this messenger in the way with you in life, we would anchor that teaching, for there are many destined to incarnate on Terra in this generation who will fulfill the prophecy that has been given of the mass ascensions from the hillsides of the world. And we desire that you shall be present for those mass ascensions, some of you spectators and some of you participants in this glorious reunion of life waves back to the heart of the great central sun. Therefore, children of the One, I come to seal this class. I come to seal the action of the light until the new day of the appearance within you of your own I am that I am. And I come for the sealing of ascension's fires within your heart. And I come for the sealing of ascension's fires in the mother light, which you now must make your own. You can make that flame your own. You can become a world mother. You can become a world father. You can be all things to all people when you surrender your smallness to the allness of God, and when you choose to be His incarnation. I am Serapis Bey, and the seraphim who have come with me today, come with this mind, come with this heart and this intent, to release to you, as the pouring out of a cup of light, the momentum of their consciousness, of their service to purity's flame, to the ascension flame. Think of the seraphim who in rotation stand before the altar of the Most High God, who move to the center of the great central sun and return again to tend the fires of the Ascension Temple. Think of contacting directly the aura of a seraphim who has been in contact with the aura of God. Have you thought about the time when time is no more and the space when space is no more, when you, as a point of infinity, will journey to the great central sun, accompanied by cosmic beings and masters and seraphim? Have you thought about entering the mind of God, about being all one with a cosmic hierarchy? This is the joy of the ascending consciousness. I am here to tell you that you need not wait, for this day the seraphim have come to match your consciousness, to release to you one by one the outpouring of light from the central sun, to let it flow into your souls, into your chakras, and into your four lower bodies, and then to seal you that harmony of the flame of God will not be misqualified or taken from you by any condition or circumstance whatsoever, except it be by your free will. Therefore, in the name of the Christ, I invoke for you the tube of light, if you will. I invoke for you the violet flame in the center of the tube of light. I invoke for you the protection of the angels of Archangel Michael with their swords of blue flame to guard the purity of consciousness that is about to be imparted to you, if you will accept it, and if you will in the silence of your heart, invite the seraphim to come and stand before you, to stand in your presence, and to release to you this sacred gift. The seraphim have a highly concentrated momentum of devotion to purity, and in their purity, they are the pure innocence of the Christed ones, and in their innocence they are childlike, and therefore, when they have come on this mission today, they can scarcely contain themselves for the joy of releasing this light to you, of making you happy, for the sheer joy of making you happy. And they have borne this light, and they have anticipated this release for weeks. For you see, they accompanied me to the great central sun when I went before Alpha and Omega to ask this dispensation for this class and for all who would make the journey and come and be physically present to receive the light. And so it is the gift of Alpha and Omega, and it is the gift to those selected by the seraphim and by the I Am Presence according to the records of the keepers of the scroll, of those also who will hear the words of these dictations and of this release of light, and of those who will also read the text of this dictation. Now therefore, angels are coming before you, each one. I ask you to stand in honor of Alpha and Omega, to stand in honor of the light which they bear. They gladly kneel before the Christ within you. They perceive the immaculate conception of your soul in the heart of God. To these angels, you are God incarnate. They see all, and to them, the light is real, the darkness is unreal, and therefore there will occur now an exchange by the action of the figure 8 pattern, and they will allow to flow to you the action of the light which they bear, and the exchange will be that they will assume and take in the darkness of your aura, and they will take only that portion which they are allowed to take by cosmic law, and then you will be filled with the light, and then you, by your free will, in the hours and days and weeks to come, will determine whether that light which you have been given will once again be qualified with the human patterns and the psychic patterns and the patterns of limitation, or whether you will surrender those patterns and let the pure light be the pure light, filling the pure patterns of consciousness which are yours for the asking, yours for the call, yours for the willingness to exercise the science of the spoken word. Let the word as the Logos be upon you as a mantle of living flame. Let the sword of the sacred word go forth from your mouth as from the mouth of the faithful and true. Let the sword go forth from you as from the word of the two witnesses. Realize that you can be one with the faithful and true if you understand the mystery of this image preserved for you in the book of Revelation to prove to you the authenticity of the science of the spoken word, for the spoken word is the sword of living truth. Now, the mighty seraphim make the transfer. It is done. In the name of the Father, and of the Mother, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, it is done. And now for the sealing of this light within you. You may come forth in an orderly manner, so that the Mother may touch your third eye with this amethyst egg which I have already charged with the ascension flame, for the sealing of the third eye from all misuses of the sacred fire. This is the gift of the great central sun messengers. According to your response to the dispensation, will other dispensations be given. Remember your invocations to reinforce ascension's flame for the release of the sequel to the Dossier. I thank you and I bid you good evening in the flame of the ascension.